don't mind if you're ordering fish and chips while I'm talking. I don't mind if I hear the whispers. But my name's Caroline Brealey and I'm a professional matchmaker. So has anyone here ever seen Millionaire Matchmaker? Yeah. I notice how a lot of the women have. I reckon the guys have too, they're just not owning up to it. Well, if you've ever seen it, I am absolutely nothing like her. So I don't shout at people, because I'm very British, and I don't force people to go out on dates. And unfortunately, I don't work with multi-millionaires. So it would be very good if I did, but I might be keeping them all for myself. But what I do is I work one-on-one with people, so very much people like yourself, so single people looking for love. And I know we have quite a few couples in here today, but hopefully you guys as well will also take something away from it, or if not, be able to help your single friends. But I help people who really want to find love, but for whatever reason they're not finding it. And they come to me and they say, okay, this is the situation I'm in. How can you help me, and how can you introduce me to like-minded people? So I get a really good insight from people in that way. But I also have a network of really awesome single people from all around the globe. And I know there's a couple of them here today who I've never met before, so it's lovely to meet you. And through all these single people, I get a really good insight into what people are looking for, and maybe where they can do things about their behaviours that might help them improve their chances of finding love. And not just finding love, but keeping it as well. Now, I did think until today that I had the most amazing job, and then I met this lovely lady in the audience who has the world's best job because she can tell everything about you just by your handwriting. So you need to talk to this lady at some point today.
Thank you, Caroline.
I'm very jealous, actually. I've always said on matchmaking, you know, and everyone goes, wow, that's exciting. And then I found out what you did, and I was absolutely blown away. So maybe we'll get her up on stage later. But what this has afforded me is really experience into finding out what's really stopping people. And I wanted to see a show of hands, and I know coffee seems like a really long time ago now, but do any of these sound familiar to you? Do you know, I'm just too busy today. I'm too busy. I've got the kids, and I've got to pick them up after school, and then I've got to do dinner, and I'm knackered, and work, and I've got this presentation. Does that sound like any of you leading busy lives? Yeah, exactly. Or my personal favourite one is, there are no good single people anymore. There are no good singles. They're all taken, all the best ones are gone. There is none. There's none left in the entire whole population of London. There are no good singles left. Or what I have heard more recently is, God, dating's so expensive, you know, going out on all these dates. And needless to say, that one tends to come from the gender. But let's break those down a minute. Okay, so too busy to date. That's the one I hear the most. I'm too busy, too busy. And I do work with a lot of professionals. And I always say, okay, you're too busy. There was an article last week in the Daily Mail, don't judge me, I do read it online sometimes, don't we all? And it was really interesting because it was about David Cameron, our Prime Minister, talking about dating and how he always makes time to go out with Samantha and to have a date night with her. Now that kind of made me think, right, if the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom can make time to go on dates, then we can all make time. So it's a little bit of an excuse. Dare I say it? Okay, so let's break down another one. There are no good singles. Who here really believes that there are no good singles left? You believe there's no good singles left?
I believe I haven't met them yet.
Perfect, you've not met them yet. Well, maybe you might find them in this room. I know it's not a singles event, but there are some lovely singles in. Okay, so you've not met him yet, but I'm sure you will. Okay, so there are thousands of amazing, fantastic single people out there. And when you get this kind of mindset that there's no one left, there is. Don't lose hope, don't lose faith. There are incredible single people out there. But what actually are these things we're saying? Well, they are kind of excuses, but we use them as a bit of way of covering up something else, something that we might not want to really admit to ourselves, or something that we might not even really be aware of. So, for example, and you don't need to wave your hands at this one, just kind of think about it in yourself. What about if I said that there might be reasons why you haven't met somebody if you're single? And it could be because of a fear of rejection. So, for example, you don't want to put yourself out there, you don't want to ask out that girl at work because you're worried she's going to say no to you. Okay? Or that wonderful guy that you saw on the tube on the way to Heathrow at the crack of dawn on a Saturday morning. You know, he was gorgeous, but you don't want to approach him because once if he says no to you, you're going to feel really embarrassed. So you think, oh, I'm just going to let it go. Because I don't want to get hurt and I don't want to feel rejected. Or what about if you thought that it was because of your confidence? So you really felt, I don't want to put myself out there. I don't want to do it because I've not lost the weight that I wanted to lose. So I feel horrible about myself. I don't feel good. I've been meaning to have my teeth whitened for ages, or no one's going to want to go out with me. There's something about me. No one wants to date me. So you feel like a real low confidence and low lack of self-esteem in yourself. Or perhaps it's the fear of being vulnerable and hurt, because all of us have been hurt. Is there anyone in this room who has never been hurt? Exactly. We've all been hurt. And when we have, it's much harder for us to then kind of put ourselves out there again when we know what could potentially happen. So that's why we often say we're too busy, or dating's too expensive, there's not enough time in the day, online dating doesn't work for me, there's no good singles out there. Often we say those things, and whilst they can be true sometimes, it can be a way of kind of masking, potentially, a barrier that we have to finding somebody. So that's your second step to finding love. The third step, if you thought that was the hard bit, is now you've actually got to break that barrier down. So you know what the barrier is. Let's say, for example, it's that fear of rejection. How on earth are you going to break that down? How are you going to stop this feeling of rejection? Now, I want you to imagine something, and this is completely hypothetical, okay? So even if you don't drink, even if you don't go to bars, it doesn't matter. I want you to visualise and picture yourself in a bar, okay? So are you there in your mind? You're in the bar. And let's say there's a really good-looking person at the other end of the bar. And you think, okay, God, they look great. I really want to speak to them. I can't leave tonight without at least, having a word with them. I really must speak to them. But there's something that's stopping you, and that's that you've got to walk all the way across, and then you've got to strike up a conversation with them, and your heart's going, and the music's a bit loud, and you feel a bit nervous, but maybe you've had a couple of glasses of wine, so you're feeling a bit more confident, and you've got to go over. So imagine yourself now doing the walk. What is the worst thing right now that can happen? What's the worst thing? Somebody tell me. Trip over. Yep, that would be pretty horrendous. What else might be the very worst thing that can happen?
You got a girlfriend.
He's got a girlfriend. Yeah, that's pretty depressing when you've made the effort, isn't it? What else? What else could be the worst case scenario?
Spill your drink.
Spill your drink, yeah, and you feel embarrassed in front of them. For me, the very worst thing, and I thought about this a lot this week, would be a guy saying to me, oh, why are you even talking to me? Why do you think I would talk to you? Like, oh, just go away, just F off, I don't want to talk to you, go away, carries on talking with his friends. And I would probably go and cry in a dark corner, probably in the toilets for a couple of hours, and feel really, really crap about myself. But then I'd probably wake up the next day, still feel a bit crappy, probably a bit hungover, and I'd probably think, what an absolute asshole. Because why would I ever want to be with somebody who talks to me like that, who treats people like that, somebody he doesn't even know? We don't want to be with anyone like that, they're not worth our time. And you can try and justify it, as I think women in particular do this. Oh, maybe he had a bad day at work, oh, maybe he was just there to talk to his buddies, or, oh, maybe he's woke up this morning feeling really guilty about it. Well, chances are probably not. But we can try and justify it that way. Okay, so that's the worst case scenario. Someone is really horrible to us and we feel crappy. Okay, so go back to the bar again, and you haven't gone over to this dream goddess person that's at the end. And imagine you're walking up again. Now think of the best case scenario. What's the best case scenario? What could happen? Someone shout it out to me. What's the best case?
Instant attraction.
Instant attraction, yeah. What about if the conversation's really flowing, it's bantering, they're really hot, you're feeling great, you're feeling flirty, you're really getting on, then they ask you out on a date, or you bite the bullet and ask them, and then what happens the next week? You go on that date and you're like, yes, it wasn't a fluke, they are still hot and they are still nice. And then you go on a third date and a fourth date, and then you meet their friends, and then you meet their family, and it's all going really well, you move in together. Whatever this kind of perfect vision of your relationship and your life might be, let's imagine it goes to there. So that's the best case scenario. Okay, so worst case scenario, someone's really horrible to you. They say something that's really cruel that you probably will remember for the rest of your life, let's be honest, because we all remember horrible things that people have said to us. Mine was about being ginger as a child, but I'm getting over it. So that's the worst case scenario, someone's really horrible. Best case scenario, you meet somebody who's going to be your life partner, who's potentially going to be the father of your kids, the most amazing guy, someone who will support you, a woman who will be there for you, the person who you're going to grow old with, all these amazing things. So isn't then it worth the risk to put yourself out there? Because you've got crappiness, feeling a bit low, against finding this love of your life. So if you take away anything from what I say today, take away that it is worth the risk. Love is always worth the risk, and it's always worth the gamble. So, which brings me on to what we're really wanting and what we really want in a partner and in a relationship. So through Mutual Attraction, which is my matchmaking company, I'm really lucky that I get to talk with single professionals and find out what they want. And we go for coffee, it's really relaxed, really informal. And I sit down with them, and I love this bit because it's basically like where I just get to gossip for an hour at work. And I say, tell me what you're looking for in a partner and a relationship. And women generally say, oh God, what am I looking for? Oh, tall, good looking, good sense of humour, of course. Likes to work out and keep fit, be at the gym and all that kind of stuff. But not too much, because he's got to be around. He's got to be around for me. And he's got to be in touch with his feminine side, but I also want him to be a bit buff, a bit masculine as well. And I kind of sit there thinking, okay, oh God, I've got to find this love of their life for this person. And men normally say, oh, petite, lovely woman, who's kind, who's considerate, who is really loving, but also has her own opinions and isn't afraid to voice them, and blah, blah, blah. And we go through this, and I think, okay, now I have to find out what you really, really want. And what I ask them to do, and this is something that I would encourage you guys to do at home tonight when you've got a glass of wine, relaxing and taking all this in, is write down every single thing that you are looking for in a partner, if you're single. Maybe you guys shouldn't do this. Write down every single thing that you're looking for. And then I want you to go through and I want you to answer this question. Why? Why are you looking for that? And the reason I ask it is because most people actually don't really think about what they're looking for. And we hope that we're just going to find it, but we don't really know what it looks like. Or we have slightly unrealistic expectations sometimes of what it might look like. I.e. for me, Bradley Cooper, mixed with Brad Pitt. That'd be lovely. But my fiance's at the back and he's really what I'm looking for. He's absolutely perfect. When you start going through that and you start asking why, you realise that some of these things you have on your list, some of these things you've kind of collected over the years, so he's got to be tall. Let me tell you about that one actually, let me be tall, because that's my favourite one, because all women say that. He's got to be tall. I'm only 5'2", but he's got to be 6 foot. I really like tall men and I like the kind of feel of it. And I always say the same. Let's imagine hypothetically I've got the most amazing man. He is just awesome. He's the kind of guy who, if it's ladies' time, he's going to go out and buy you cake. He's going to be amazing. He's going to be the love of your life for the rest of your life. But he's only your height. Would you still date him? And what do you think they say?
Yeah.
Yes, they would date him because he's freaking amazing. Of course they're going to date him. So actually, height doesn't matter. It might be a preference. You might still say, oh, well, in an ideal world, I would love him to be 6'3". But, life doesn't always happen like that. And the average British guy is 5'9", so you're already kind of putting yourself into a kind of box. So ask yourself why, and I think you'll be surprised, and also you can realise that some of those things you thought were super important to you, you can just get rid of, and then it opens you up to meeting so many more people. Okay, so creating a dating plan, and I haven't got that much longer, so I'm going to whip through. But how many dating opportunities are there to meet people? So what ways can you meet people? So I'll start off, online dating. How else can you meet someone?
Supermarket.
Supermarket? Through friends. Friends are often the very best matchmakers as well.
No,
How
work.
else?
The gym.
The gym, yeah.
Club.
Working out.
Our relationship seminar.
Exactly, the relationship seminar, maybe. I think we should have set up like a little speed dating thing like that. It would be quite fun. There are tons of ways to meet somebody. In a way, there's kind of so many ways that it's a bit mind-boggling now, because there's kind of so much choice out there. But my point is, if you are single and you really want to be proactive about finding love, and this is something that you are deadly set on, try them all. Go for it. And really invest your time in doing it. One of the favourite things I love is when people say to me, oh, online dating does not work for me. It does not work for me. And I'm like, no, you have to work for it. You know, you can't just set up a profile and then go, oh God, all these guys haven't been emailing me, and you really have to put yourself out there. You have to be proactive. You have to make that time that we've been using as an excuse to do it. So I wanted to mention something called the 30-day challenge. Does anybody here ever watch TED Talks?
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a lot of people. So you might have seen this one because I think it's one of the most watched, but it's by a guy called Matt Cutts for Google. And basically he talks about setting yourself a 30-day challenge, because 30 days is around the optimal time to kind of break a habit or form a habit. So he gives the example that he gave up sugar because he was totally nuts for 30 days. I won't be doing that one. But the whole idea with that is that set yourself a challenge. 30 days is a good target. So if you've decided you're going to do online dating, for 30 days make that your challenge, that you are going to do every single day, not just every other. You are going to log into online dating, you're going to approach people, you're going to respond to people, and you're actually going to make dates from it. Okay, so really set yourself that target. So I did a 30-day challenge, and I wrote a blog, a 30-day blog, which almost killed me. It sounded really easy, writing for 30 days. It's really not. And I wrote all about kind of how to live a life that you love. And I'm going to send you all the link to it if you leave your email address over there. And basically, it has things from doing meditation or doing yoga. And I tell you, I'm absolutely crap at them, but I wanted to try them because everybody says they're really good, so I gave them a go. It's talking about taking a social media detox. It's all different ways that you can increase your life and make it happier, make it a more fulfilled life. There'll be some things you'll try that you'll think, God, I'm never doing that again. But it's really a way of being date ready. So getting yourself in a position where you feel happy, genuinely happy. Maybe you already are. But where you're loving life, where you've got so much going on that actually your relationship complements it. So I want you to see if you can have a go at that as well. And the final thing, prepping for a date, and I have got to wrap this up now, but basically a lot of people, and I know my clients do the same, they kind of think the date is the end game. Oh God, I can't wait to get on the date, I've bagged myself a date, I'm excited. Make sure you prepare for it and invest in it. So if someone's giving you their time, and we all know how much time is precious, then make an effort for the date. Make an effort to look good, make an effort to prepare, think of questions beforehand. You know, because when someone's giving your time, it's the biggest thing that they can give you. Okay, well, I think that's me done, because I'm conscious they're looking at me at the back. But I really hope you've taken away something, and I'm going to be around all day, so if you want to talk to me, please do. And I feel really bad, because I've got no freebies for you, and after he gave all those freebies, I'm sorry I don't have any for you, but thank you very much.